Hello. Apologies for any noise. I have the air conditioner running. It's too hot to be streaming without it. I think I've still got the noise gate. Yes, I've got noise gate and noise suppression, so we should be good. Let me know how this sounds. Does it sound any worse than usual? Is it too obviously noisy? If so, I don't care. Yeah, hello. How's everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How's your week been? What's everybody been up to? I don't know why I'm suddenly hyperactive. I wasn't 2 seconds ago. Let's have some water and calm that down. Hello to Simon, who's laid up in bed with COVID. Hope you're alright. It's a good job we had no jobs booked in. Both me and my dad are down with it. Joe's being self-employed with 2 staff. Fun. Sounds fine through the TV. Good. I'm glad that my dulcet tones can keep you entertained in your health. Oh, um, hello to Essentialist, to the man of many question marks, to the man of half a dozen question marks. Those things. Chris will not be attending. He's busy having drinks in a pub with my cousin in Falkirk. um, hello, Simon. How you doing? How's things? Alive enough? Good. Same, bro. Same. I am. I'm actually worse than you than last week. I'm now officially off the steroids, and I'm feeling it. In many ways, actually. I did buy a refurbished RG Ally for £300 from Laptops Direct. It's in new condition. Damn, that's a pretty good deal. Like, considering I bought the 64 gig Steam Deck for about 300. It might have been 329 or something, and then I put a 1 TB SSD that I already had because I'm a tech reviewer. But yeah, nice. Actually, I can talk about this now. Tomorrow's video is an SSD for devices like that. It is the Crucial P310. It's a really cool drive, really good. 2230 single-sided, and it is right around the same price as all the other ones, but the crazy thing is that it's a DRAM-less drive, right? Like a 2230 drive is minuscule, so there really is no space for a controller and NAND flash and DRAM, especially if you're going single-sided, which you need to if you're putting it in one of those devices. But the crazy thing is that this drive is one of the fastest Gen 4x4 SSDs I have tested. Full stop. And yet it is a DRAM-less 2230 drive with a single 2 TB package of NAND flash. It's insane. It even has something they call RAIM, Redundant Array of Independent NAND, as in, the NAND flash is over provisioned, so you don't lose any space for this. But when it saves data, it saves parity calculations like a NAS would when you have RAID, so that if you have any problems, it will be able to recreate your data, which is insane. How much? So the 2 TB version is the MSRP is I think about 200. I think it was 215. It should be available on Amazon. It launched yesterday at 4 p.m. so availability might be a little bit yet, but yeah, 2 TB, ridiculously fast, and some really cool features. 5-year warranty, all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Hello Joe, how you doing, man? How's things? Also hello Ish. I didn't actually say hello. How you doing? How's things? It's a Crucial P310. I will have a video on it tomorrow. And Joe, the crucial P310. It's a 2230 drive, so a Steam Deck or RG Ally drive, but it's one of the fastest Gen 4x4 drives that I have tested full stop, despite being DRAM-less. Yes-ish. So the point of uh it both reads and writes straight from the NAND. Hello, Commander Classified. Welcome back. Glad to have you. Um, Jim, hello. How you doing on his things? Ba 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 ba. I was gonna go for the Silicon Power 2 TB from Amazon for 155. I mean, to be fair, for something like the RG Ally, you don't need the fastest Gen 4 drive around, right? So in that case, it's fine, and you're saving like 50, 60 quid on the same capacity, but you know, a slower drive. Um, and so if I was you, I would probably still get that drive. Um, but yeah. Hmm. Oh. Uh, Faster than a Gen 3 slot as well as 4 and 5. So it's a Gen 4 drive, so it should still be plenty fast. It would just be bandwidth limited in a Gen 3 slot. No worries, Commander Classified. I am well aware that that's a very, very common thing and not something that can often be helped. um, I just did a review on the Apacer AS2280 F4, and that was insanely fast. 12 gigabytes per second, but it's tad pricey. So that's a Gen 5 drive, right? Gen 5 drive should be able to do 14, 15 gigabyte per second. So that's what I would call the first generation Gen 5 drives. In the same way that the first generation Gen 4 drives, like the original Sabrent Rocket 4, was 5 gigabytes per second, rather than the full 7. 5 or 6 rather than 7. Or 7.5 actually. So, yeah. So I was pulling my 2004 BMW 645 Ci out of the shop. Car was running, and I closed the hood. Now it won't start. 2004. Do the lights come on? Does it crank? Does the starter just click? Well, what's the run condition? Like what state does it get to? Ow. um. Da, 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 da. Did I miss anything? I need to upgrade my second gen iPod 160 gig to an SSD one day. Nice. No crank, just click. Well, normally when it just clicks, that means that the starter's dead. Ow. But it might have just been coincidence that it's you close the hood and then it broke. I know that I have a difficult time doing like a diagnosis when there are factors like that, because I would just end up like laser focused on the fact that when you closed it went for it. I have a feeling it may have triggered some kind of safety feature. Well, so I take it you don't have any kind of diagnostics tool, specifically a like dealership spec like ISTA. That's BMW's dealership diagnostic software. You can download it from the internet somewhat readily, and you only, especially for that 2004, I'm pretty sure you only need a basic, not KCAN, basic cable. You do have all the software for BMWs. I would try running a scan like check the DCCs to see if there is anything obvious. My experience, my friend Dan isn't here. My experience of BMWs and DTCs is that they never throw one when they should, and they do throw one when they shouldn't. Um, so best of luck. But what I would say is, yeah, check for DCCs, check if there's anything obvious, if it has triggered a safety feature. Although, I mean, I guess a 6 Series is one of the earlier cars to have that would have got fancy features like that. But the only one that I know that is truly related to the bonnet is the protection. Like the hinges are actually explosive hinges on at least later models. So if it detects a pedestrian crash, it will pop the front. It will pop the bonnet to sort of cushion them. And obviously there are sensors in the front for that crash detection for whatever. Although those normally aren't active until the vehicle is moving, and often over a certain speed as well. So I'd be kind of surprised. The fact that the starter you can hear a click but nothing happens, to me sounds more like it's just the starter's died. It's a 2004. I assume you haven't changed the starter, so I assume it's probably 20 years old at this point. Yeah, I think that's where my head goes in that sort of diagnostic path. And I think the fact that when you close the bonnet it stopped working might be a red herring. Although feel free to pop back next week and see. Well, Simon with the Bastion dud. That's not. Oh right, I see. Got it. I wonder if that's a grounding issue. Like if the ground cable for the engine is loose, then dropping the bonnet, especially if you dropped it, not softly, could knock the ground loose, and then once the ground is gone, it's not going to start for the life of you. I'm trying to remember the generations, and I think 2004 for the 6 Series anyway. Oh no, it is that one. Is that the first year? E63. 2003, right, yeah. We did a diagnosis. We did diagnostics on one of these ones. There is an chance that has some sort of fancy feature like that. I'm not sure. I don't think that generation. I mean, you can check on the hinges actually. When you lift the bonnet up, the explosive hinges are quite obvious. So if it has it, then I'd be more inclined to believe that there is some magic going on. But yeah. Grounds are all good. Fair. Well, I'm at a loss. I've not had to deal with that issue myself, I'm afraid. So, yeah. I closed the hood gently. Good. I know people that don't, and kind of annoys me. This car's full of gremlins. Well, okay. Here's my BMW story. My friend Dan bought a 320D, an E90, so that sort of age. And so that's the 2-liter diesel. It was a 320D, 2-liter diesel, and it drove fine for 2 months, 3 months. and all of a sudden, uh, the car went into well, technically it didn't go into limp mode. It actually wouldn't start. He drove it to work one day. I had to go pick him up because car just wouldn't start anymore. After a couple of nights, like he would cycle to work instead, for a week or two. So the car was just stuck in his works car park. We would like work on the car, like we checked the what you call it, the DTCs. We used ICA. We got that working. Basically, no error codes, no codes, none relevant anyway. So we went through air, fuel, spark. Okay, it's a diesel. There's no spark, but there's compression. We know that. We thought maybe the fuel's bad. We thought we'll pull the fuel out. Nope, that didn't help. And then the next thing, he was playing around with it, and he unplugged the map sensor, the manifold absolute pressure sensor. I think it's absolute. The pressure sensor for the air intake. And all of a sudden, the car started. Now, it was technically in limp mode. It felt like it had about 60 horsepower instead of the 160, 180 it should have had. But it drove. So he drove it. Anytime you plug the map sensor back in, car would fail to start. Now, here's the fun thing. You replace the map sensor. Still a problem. A lot of people in general on the forums were suggesting various things. We tried replacing, so that car, that 2-liter diesel has a motor that actuates the wastegate for the turbo. So instead of it being a vacuum bladder that when you let off, instead of the turbo overspooling and you get too much boost pressure in the manifold, you have a wastegate that lets the exhaust gases pass through rather than go through the turbine, and therefore you don't get excess boost pressure. So normally, or in the olden days, that was actuated by a vacuum diaphragm that would open and close that valve, but BMW in their infinite wisdom decided that it should be an electric motor instead. So he replaced that, didn't fix it. He replaced quite a lot of things before just giving up and driving the car as normal with about 60 horsepower for over 6 months. Not once did that car throw an error code for anything relevant. Not even when it wouldn't start. I hate BMWs. So yes, if it has, I mean, you say modern cars. That was the 2005. Ish, does your car weigh 1.6 tons though? Yeah. Best of luck, Commander Classified. Because you might be there for a while. Anything after OBD2 is modern, so 99? Uh, um, ba 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 ba. Yes. Command Cluster, I think what Jim was saying was if you put it in gear and roll it a bit, that moves the engine and you might be able to get it started, having moved the engine and therefore the starter motor a little bit. And or, yeah, tap on it. But as you say, you've been a mechanic for 35 years. I'm sure you know more about, at very least, the basics than whatnot. It's an autotrans. Yeah, I mean, there should, in fact, I know there is. In fact, I'm pretty sure. So that will be a ZF 6-speed, I think. Maybe No, ZF6 speed. And I'm pretty sure on the ZF6 speed there is a bolt on the what will be your driver's side. That if you screw it up, it will go into it take the car out of park so that you can roll it. But if you can keep no, I think BMW. I think BMW limits your ability to take the car out of park if the engine is not running. With my Audi, you can take it out of park as long as the key's on and your foot's on the brake. But yeah. Oh, John, welcome. Glad to be lurking. Having to Flintstones the car each time. That's why I like my old Ford XC panel van with a carbureted V8. Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I do much prefer modern cars, both for their convenience, their quality, and fuel injection, power and efficiency. Because I'm sure that that carbureted V8 makes maybe 100 and something horsepower. I know that it's not necessarily, you know, it's a panel van. It's not exactly built for speed, but you know. Exactly. That one. I've got a free excuse for not doing anything in the studio for the next 4 to 5 days. Our garden is being landscaped and it's upside down. My studio's right at the end of the garden. Nice. Hey, S 240. Amazing. My 3-liter V6, admittedly supercharged, has 330 and with a bit of remapping it will do 500. Where can I get one like it? I think TechteamGB.co.uk/store? Or no, merch. God, does that link still work? It might not. I'm a great salesman. It does. It does still work. TechteamGB.co.uk/merch. I've had many fights with cars. I like modern cars and have a good mechanic now. Yeah. I am the mechanic currently, which is the problem. See, I'm a good salesman for my tools. My open source response time and latency testing tools. Although actually, I've been working on those a fair bit. The Expert has had a few changes, including these bodged resistors to test. I've fixed a load of stuff, like the analog to digital converter, the external one is working now. The light sensor circuit is working a lot better. The only problem is that, see that little 6-pin chip there? So that's an op amp, an operational amplifier. That takes the current that this the light sensor, the photodiode generates, and turns it into a voltage that the analog to digital converter can read and interpret. The problem is that this one has some really funky behavior and is just not useful for what I want it to. So I'm actually going back to the old one, the one that I use in the latency tool and in the response time tool, or OSRTT Pro CS, because that one is reliable and more than adequate for my use cases. Like on spec, like on paper, this one is better than the one that I will be using. It has a higher gain bandwidth product, faster slew rate, all this sort of stuff. However, the one that I use is more than adequate for this use. Like the one that I'm going to be using, the one that I have been using, has a slew rate of between 8 and 11 volts per microsecond. So basically, a slew rate is how fast its output can change. I'm not well. That one has something like 200 volts per microsecond, but the one that I use is between 8 to 10 volts per microsecond. I am sampling every 2.7 microseconds, and I'm using 3.6 volts for the op amp, so it can do 0 to 3.6 in half a microsecond. Actually, a third of a microsecond. It's fast enough. So yeah, I've made a bunch of changes. So the boards that I will be ordering at some point, hopefully kind of soon, are quite different from this, in a lot of little way, but yeah, I'm quite happy with how that's progressing, and the new latency tool is pretty much done. I think I said this the other day. If you get the tap kit, it'll come with now a 3-pin header. This pin is still the same. You can apply voltage to this one to trigger it, but this is ground. You can crocodile clip it onto some aluminium foil tape, and then use this banana plug to tap on your mouse button, and you get the best of both worlds for mouse testing or keyboard testing. And yeah, I've improved the audio quite a lot, and I'm using my own microcontroller setup. In fact, that little 5-pin chip is the op amp I am using for all of my devices now. So yeah, yeah. Oh, and the bed cooler project. I've run into some issues because I don't know how transistors work. I mean, I do, but also the practicalities of doing it. I need to buy another set of PCBs, basically, which isn't ideal, especially because it's currently quite hot, and I would like to be able to cool my damn bedroom. But yeah, so I'm almost there on that. I'm making a few changes and whatnot, and I might have the designs for that done soon. Please no colorful expulsions in the stomach from the stomach on stream. If it gets to that point, I'm running out the door. It's fine. Yeah, I just feel horrible. Speaking of feeling horrible, do you know what? Relax, stream. Hey, now you can see the lights. Ha ha ha. Status report. So I'm working with the inflammatory bowel disease team. I actually just had my bloods taken today, and I have some stool samples to deliver. And then I might be going back on another course of steroids, and it's very, very likely that I'll be going on immunosuppressants, and I'll be immunocompromised. Luckily, the immunosuppressants aren't quite as bad as they sound. They're not like actually get a cold and you die, but you've got to be real careful with getting a cold. Which is alright, because I work from home. I had an autism assessment yesterday, and I'm officially autistic. Yeah, I am officially an autist with alexithymia, which means I can't describe things. Which also, my god, I've realized the reason that I can't write reviews for subjective things like keyboards and mice, like why I really struggle to write good, like, reviews of subjective things, is because I have a thing called alexithymia. It's a very common thing if you have autism. It's basically the inability to describe feelings or sensations. Like, I can barely describe how much pain and discomfort I'm in. And, like, trying to describe how a keyboard is good is impossible for me to do. So I end up just saying, yeah, it feels great. It's good to game on. That's fine. Other people will talk at length about how it feels, how it like handles, how they whatever. I don't even know. And yet, yeah, yeah. Well, we could have told you that you're high on that scale. I know, but a doctor said it, and that makes it official now. Can't describe things, but you're a reviewer. I know, I know. That's why I like monitors, like and CPUs and GPUs, because that's objective data that I can just tell you the analysis of the data. Like I can tell you about the response times and latency and the pixel measurements and the color and the brightness. Like all of that sort of stuff is really easy for me to talk about, pontificated length upon, and yet I'm trying to describe how a keyboard or a mouse feels to use. No chance. Congratulations, is that appropriate? Well, yes, because it means that I can now get reasonable accommodations from things like my doctors who don't listen to me. Because when I say that I'm in like unbearable pain, I'm not acting the same way as a neurotypical person does when they're in unbearable pain or have, or describing their unbearable pain. So for me to actually have a bit of paper that says I'm autistic and I can't describe things means that they have to like realize that I'm not a typically presenting case. I mean, I'm autistic. I like data. Nice one, Ish. Come on, send the keyword to me and I'll write a 10-page essay just on the caps. Oh, maybe. Um, no, because they ask for descriptions of the pain. Where does it hurt? How does it feel? And again, alexithymia. I don't know. Just the anabolics. Okay, tech question. How much performance will I lose if I go for a laptop with a Ryzen 8945HS versus an i7 HX one from Intel? So I assume you mean the 13, 14, 700HX. And the answer, it really depends on the TDP of the CPU. In fact, the laptop review that you'll see, I think on Monday, will describe quite a lot about the difference there. Um, because a 13700H or HX, whatever, in a thicker gaming laptop will heavily outperform a 13700H or HX in a thin and light laptop. Um, so, uh, yeah, big difference. Um, but I also haven't tested any laptops with that CPU, so go to notebookcheck dot net. Just Google notebook check and look at reviews for those chips. They do fantastic work. Highly recommend them. And thank you, Eric. I'm trying. Well, what's your immune system done to you? It seems to be actively attacking you. Yes, I have autoimmune conditions. Um, yeah, yeah. See you, John. Have uh, have a good time at work. I have not, Ish. In fact, I didn't know. AMD did send me. Where is it? Which which of the 500? AMD sent me all of their press stuff. Which one would that be? I mean, we can talk through the Zen 5 architecture stuff. That's quite cool. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be fancy. This is probably not a good idea, but I'm gonna try. Window capture. Yes. Yes. Window. Oh god, there's a lot of windows. That one. Right, hold on. Bear with. I'm coming back. Hold on. Don't worry. Don't worry. 2 seconds. Whee! Hold on. I'm a professional streamer. I've got this. Hold on. A little bit more. Yeah! Right, you ready? Cautionary statements. Hold on. Professional streamer. God, I'm blocking like part of the. No, damn it. That one. There we go. Right. Okay. Wahoo. We got it. So. Fancy. New dual pipe fetch. Oh God. Shouldn't have set up. An advanced branch prediction. So they've doubled the. There we The front end has gotten larger. We have God, it's too far away and I can't see. The branch prediction, 2 taken, 2 ahead, and Tage. Level and cache, decode 4 wide times 2. So dual decode pipes, as they mention. Instruction cache latency and bandwidth improvement. So the front end has gotten larger and faster, which is kind of a trend. Intel has significantly widened the front end. Although Intel's main difference in the new Lunar Lake and Arrow Lake chips is that the front end is now split. The operations, the cores and the schedulers are split. Nice fun show. So you now no longer have the integer engine waiting on, say, the vector engine to finish its task scheduling, which is quite cool. What have we got? Widened the integer unit, 6 LUs, and 3 for multiplication, which is pretty cool. Larger execution window, and 8 wide dispatch and retire, also cool. The back end, 48 kilobytes, 12-way L1 cache. Actually, 4-cycle load is pretty impressive. Intel was talking about the load cycles for their cache, because again, in Lunar Lake and Arrow Lake, they went in. They have essentially created an extra cache layer, so there's now L0, L1, and L2, with the L1 being the new one. I think it was the Lunar and Arrow Lake. Now it's 4 cycles for L0, which was L1, so they're on par here, which is quite cool. This is important for AI stuff, AVX 512 with a full 512-bit data path. So basically, AVX 512 is now properly supported, and 6 pipelines as well. the IPC uplift is pretty massive, so they already talked about this a little bit, but they've properly labeled everything. Actually, they did the last time, but in talking about the new extensions, Geekbench way up, but also like 23% in Blender is gonna be pretty cool. And again, talking about the whole AI stuff, I know. This is actually quite a cool breakdown. The performance that AMD is quoting for the performance comes. The majority is execution retire, data bandwidth, and decode, with only a tiny bit from branch prediction, but still some. 4 and 3 nanometer, it's pretty cool to see. The new Strix Point chips, so these are the mobile ones and the whole Ryzen AI stuff with an NPU built in, and then the Epic chips available later this year. Which, again, the fact that these are drop-in replacements for Genoa, pretty cool. And then the new CPU roadmap. I guess it's Zen 6 confirmed. I think we already knew that, but yeah. So Zen 5 will be 4 nanometer for, I guess, the desktop, and 5C, which is their more density focused one, will be 3 nanometer, which is even more impressive. And then the RDNA stuff. There we go, lined up. Double the texture sampler rate, double the interpolation and comparison rates, and better memory management as well, which is quite cool to see. Line it up. They're also talking about the efficiency. So for the Strix Point chips, which are the mobile chips, it's a pretty significant uplift at 15 watts of power, which is kind of crazy. What monitor do you recommend for the best input lag at 60 hertz? Well, the problem there is that any monitor is probably fine at 60 hertz, because 60 hertz means a minimum of 16.67 milliseconds of latency. By comparison, a lot of monitors are, well, okay, I say a minimum. Technically speaking, if you run, say, my latency testing tool, open source, in fact, you'll find that the average tends, on a fast monitor, tends to be about halfway between the refresh rate, so about 8 milliseconds, 9 milliseconds. But that is still well over twice anything a little faster. So I'm a little confused why you want a 1080p 60Hz monitor, but care about input lag. Because if you cared about input lag, you would want higher refresh rate. And actually, even if whatever is hooked up to the system can't run it faster than 1080p 60 right now, I would still recommend getting a 1080p 144, 160 hertz monitor right now anyway. So I would probably get something like the AOC, whatever the 24G2, G3 is. That's my normal go-to for the best value and generally best performance, especially at value. So yeah, AOC 24G2, G3, whatever is current. It's been a while. And that is the architecture slide deck. There really isn't that much. Let me put this back. And let me see if I can find the slide deck for that one. The new AOC G4 has a total response time of 20 milliseconds. Is that not good or bad? When you say 20 milliseconds, where have you got that number from? Because that sounds like you're quoting a game rather than the monitor itself. Was the epic stuff from this launch? Because it I have the full folder of all of the AMD press decks, and uh, I don't see one that would have epic in it. The AOC G4 does not have a 1 millisecond response time. It's at best it's 3. Realistically, it's 5. Some reviews. Okay, so those reviews are almost certainly quoting end-to-end in-game times, not the monitor itself. Those in-game times are not overly useful, especially not in context. So if that reviewer has done a bunch of other reviews testing in the exact same way, then you can compare between monitors in their reviews. But if you're talking about just a straight figure, they're like that 20 milliseconds in game is made up of the game's render time, it's made up of what system they have, it's made up of what tool they're using, and it's also made up of the monitor. I can guarantee you that the monitor itself is adding under or around 1 millisecond of latency. So yeah. Assuming you're talking about an AOC G4 that's not 60 Hz. Is this... Yes, tell me the specs, goddammit. 180 Hz. Yeah. Wait, what monitor? I might have that monitor next door. And I haven't got around to reviewing it yet. Hold on. One second. I have the G4XE. Yeah, I have that monitor next door. I'll be reviewing it in a week or two. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah, I will have a review of that. The AOC 24 G4XE live in not this Friday, but next Friday, I think. Or no, the Monday after that. I wish, essentialist. I wish. I would knock one of the sets of houses down to make garages. But yeah, yeah. I like I said, I will have a review of that monitor up in the not too distant future. So, if you can hold on, then please do, because I will include all of the information you might need, but I can guarantee you that the input lag is not 20 milliseconds. It is 1, or technically it's the refresh rate, so it's 180 Hz, so it's probably 3 to 4 milliseconds of actual on display. Have I reviewed the G4X? I have. There you go. Okay. So I have the XE, which is a slightly different, newer version, I think. Yeah. I can guarantee that the 24G4X is a good monitor for you to buy. That's for sure. Amazes me how they can still get away with the marketing them as 1 millisecond. Yeah, 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 me too. Well, like if you put it in the maximum overdrive mode and you ignore the overshoot and you use a small window and you use a really high tolerance, yes, you absolutely can get it to say even an average of 1 millisecond. But in practice, no. Yeah. I got a height Y70 touch in today. Is that a case? I don't do well with cases and fans and coolers. uh, I had to work on my iPod Touch today. Now I understand why Lewis Rossman hates Apple. Yes. Oh, you said you hated Philips 000 screws. I agree. Yeah. It's a height case with a 4K screen in it. Oh, okay. Why? Does it have like an HDMI port that sticks out? The Asus is too small at 23.8. Oh, okay. Well, if it's for a PS5, you can do 1440p 120 Hz. So, again, AOC makes some good ones at 27-inch 1440p IPS panels. Basically, a lot of the 27-inch 1440p panels, IPS panels, are all very similar and all pretty decent. So, if you want a larger screen, if it's for a PS5, get a 1440p 144 hertz, 165 hertz. It will run at 120, but that's fine. And yeah. Yes, I mean the PS5 will run at 1440p just fine. It will upscale the movies. It will play the games at 1440p. So yeah. Proper pen, if you ask my kids. Oh no. Oh no. Let me clutch my pearls. Oh dear. I'm sure they speak a different language. Language evolves, man. But also, yes. something gibbity, I don't know. I'm too old. You probably could. Essentially, you probably could. And to watch 1080p shows, yes, they're gonna look just as good, if not better. Yeah. No, I mean, I use a 1440p monitor for my my content consumption at my PC. A 27-inch 1440p panel, in fact, IPS panel. And I watch plenty of 1080p stuff, 4K stuff, 1440p stuff, and it all looks great. If you want even larger, then you can go 4K. Again, the PlayStation will do 4K, but 4K at 60 hertz instead of 120. At least I think, anyway. I mean, it's basically what an RX 480 in terms of power, so. But yes, you certainly can, and you can get larger displays comfortably that way. If you want even larger, you can do like 32-inch 1440p. The Gigabyte M32Q is the one that I have. It's kind of old now, but should be reasonably cheap, decent. That's a question. An OLED TV is far cheaper than an OLED monitor. If I didn't really need the high, I assume you mean refresh rate, effectively, could I get away with it? Yes, certainly. There are some caveats. You would still want a quantum dot one, personally. And you can often be dealing with an awful lot of input lag. Maybe if you put it in the game mode, that might help. But yeah, those TVs often have quite a lot of input lag. I want to use it with a 1080p TV box given by my provider. Again, 1440p, 1080p content looks fine on 1440p. It's technically not a direct scaling, but it will look fine. Whereas, what you call it? Come on, brain. It's gone blank. That's the ADHD. Technically speaking, a 4K panel will look better, like 1080p content will look better than 1440p, a 1440p panel, because 4K is a direct 1:4 scale. However, if you're watching it in your bedroom, trust me, it doesn't matter. And if you care about the gaming experience more than the TV watching experience, then a 1440p 27, maybe even a 1440p 32-inch high refresh rate monitor is going to be a better experience for you to play games on than especially 1080p 60. Holy shit. And especially a large 1080p 60. And if you care more about the TV watching experience, then get a nice 4K 60 Hz 32-inch, 42-inch panel, whatever. Also, good points. If you do end up with a TV for a PC monitor, you do end up missing features, like you'll have to turn it on. Technically, with eARC, you might, is it eARC? No, CEC, HDMI CEC. You might be okay, but yeah. Hello, John. Glad you're back. Oh. I didn't realize, but I have been using my solar energy an awful lot. Somewhat unsurprisingly. I've used another 100 kilowatt hours in a week or two. But I didn't realize that I've been using it so much today, despite it charging quite a lot today. I've generated 6.5 kilowatt hours, but I've used 7.26, and it turns out that that is about as much as it had in the battery, and the battery level is currently quite low, and I still have my systems drawing 517 watts. So as soon as I'm done with the stream, I'm going to go switch the plugs back over. How's the house buying going? Fine as usual. We're waiting on our landlord's solicitors to send over the draft contracts. But we've got our mortgage application, or we've got our mortgage offer. Yeah, we're just waiting on the last bits, really. I'm struggling to get to part with the hefty price tags for a decent sized quality OLED monitor. Yeah, they're still quite expensive right now. Night-ish. Still got a couple minutes left. It's fine. It's not direly low. It's at 3.2 volts under load, so it should bounce back when I take everything off load, and it'll be fine in the morning. Almost. Almost essentialist. Almost. was actually a bit of a fight. Not necessarily the job description, but yeah, it was a bit of a umming and ahhing. I wish. I don't even make a tenth of that. Phone upgrade today, S23 Ultra, no charging brick, no SIM ejector pin. Damn Apple marketing tricks coming into play in other companies. Yeah. I mean, at least they gave you a new USB cable because they know that you'll have broken the last one. They all break. They all break. Oh. At least they gave you a phone. True. At some point, well, I was going to say at some point even that will be on a subscription plan, but it already is. Oh dear. Right, well, my very sick ass is going to go. Simon, hoard them, I think is the answer. I'm going to go and swap off solar and take lots of medication. So yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you all stay safe. Hope you all have fun. Video tomorrow, video Monday, stream next Thursday. Yeah. Catch you guys next week.